The Moto2 season kicks off here at the Chang International Circuit. This is round one of the season, and there is so much waiting ahead of us. Let's head down to the grid then and join Susie Perry.
I'm Paul.
Yeah. First race of the year. I'm going to show him who the boss is. It is so mental, is this sport.
Have you been doing your motivational coaching this today?
With Sylvan.
Yeah.
Dennis Onchu then in 12th place. Always fireworks from Dennis.
He needs no motivational.
No motivation.
Yeah. No, but that's what this man's thinking. No, that Dennis Onchu is the ultimate of what I've just said. He'll be sat there going, oh yes, these are my perfect conditions.
Yeah, but thinking I'm 12th on the grid. If I get a good start, I'll be 9th. And then go 2-3 corners after, maybe I could get up to 6. That's how he thinks, doesn't he?
I've got to jump in because Nat's headed all the way down to the back of the grid to speak to a struggling Joe Roberts, so let's squeeze this one in.
Well, Joe, we've seen your hand wrapped in ice this weekend. We're not used to seeing you towards this end of the grid. How difficult has this weekend been for you?
Yeah, it's been pretty shit, to be honest with you. I don't know. Yeah, it's just struggling with a couple things here. Got still a little bit of residual pain from the wrist, and then just, I don't know, maybe it's affecting how I'm riding the bike or something, but I just don't feel myself at the moment. So lap times are still pretty close, and we'll see. I think consistency and just stick some elbows out and try to pass the guy in front. That's all you can really do in this position.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks.
Strong feelings there for Joe Roberts going from the back of the grid, so apologies for a bit of language there. Let's talk about the front end of the grid. We've talked about Vietti and Manu Gonzalez. What about Aaron Canet?
Well, I mean, a year ago, if you'd have asked me this question, I'd have gone, no, I don't know. I just don't think he's quite got it. Remember what happened at the end of last year? He was so impressive. He knocked it up a gear, won a few races, looked confident. He's good in hot conditions. So the favourite for me is Gonzalez. But I think it could be tight. I think Canet could win him all the way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Canet, he was really strong last year. You know, he broke his winning duck as well. Argura and Aldeguer gone. So, you know, he knows he's got a good chance, not only for this race, but also for the championship. So I get a feeling Canet, we're going to see a different Canet this year, because now he'll feel more confident because of the wins he's got under his belt. And he'll feel like he's got a chance at the championship.
How vital is the start here?
It's important, because what happens is it all funnels down into turn 3, so you want to make sure you're near the head of the field. Otherwise, you can get caught up in other people's accidents.
Yeah, well, we've seen that, haven't we, in Moto3. So seconds just counting down now as we go across the front row. Aaron Canet, Celestino Vietti, and it's Manu Gonzalez in pole position. Let's head over to your commentators, Memlav and Gavin Emmett.
Thank you very much, Susie. Yeah, Moto2 roaring back into life for 2025. 22 laps ahead of them. The title race begins here in Thailand, and the next raft of MotoGP hopeful ready to stake their claim.
Moto2 gets underway at the Chang International Circuit. It's Manuel Gonzalez on pole position from Celestino Vietti and Aaron Canet, the front row of the grid. What a tantalising prospect that is down to the first corner. Then we get to see Senna Igas, Barry Boltis and Darren Binder, Marcos Ramirez, Jake Dixon and Alonso Lopez come in to complete the top 9. Further down, Diego Monrella ahead of Izan Guevara and Dennis Onchu, Albert Arenas, Mario Aggi and Daniel Holgado in 15th. Philip Salak in 16th, Jorge Navarro 17th, Adrian Huteris is in 18th, Ivan Ortola, Tony Alberino and Amul Sasaki. Alex Escray, Yuki Credenti, Colin Vaya, David Alonso, Zonta van der Gerber comes in as well. Then follow the last 2 on the grid for Joe Roberts and Oscar Gutierrez. Welcome to Moto2 in 2025. The atmosphere is rising up, and fingers crossed it's going to be a very entertaining race. Keep your fingers crossed. Anything can happen in the next 45 minutes. 38 minutes total was the race that we just saw. 22 laps ahead of us. They're doing one now, which is the formation lap. as we look at David Alonso. Gonzalez looking strong as well. Track temperature 53 degrees Celsius. Air temperature 36 Celsius. 7km/h wind as well. It looks to be okay. Let's head down to TNT.
Problems for Alex Eskrich, as we saw before, and still working on that bike. If they can get into the end of pit lane, he can rejoin at the back of the field. He won't be on the grid. He will start from pit lane, however. 22 laps, as I say, 25 points of 550 available. What's at stake here? Perhaps a chance to impress the MotoGP bosses, maybe even get a spot in the Premier class for next year. What do you think, Michael? It's at stake, isn't it, in Moto2? You can impress someone. You can put yourself as the next cab on the rank.
Yeah, what Ayagura did yesterday will help all these riders on the grid. So the MotoGP teams will currently be looking. The contracts that are up at the end of this year will all be negotiated over the next 2 to 3 months. So you come out all guns blazing at round 1 in Moto2, and all of a sudden your name's at the top of the list.
Looks like it's certainly clouded over somewhat rather than the sunshine beating down, but don't let that fool you. Still, you can see a bit of shadow under the bikes. It's still in the high 30s, track temperature in the high 50s. Here is Manu Gonzalez and that black livery Dynafault Liqui intact GP bike. Many people saying he's got the pace, showed that he was strong in testing. Had a crash earlier this weekend. There's Vietti alongside, who's made the switch onto the Bosco-Oscuro this year. He's looked good as well this weekend, Kate.
Yeah, but he's going to have the run down towards that first corner. That's going to be the crucial part as well, as we gear up for the start of Moto2 in 2025. Teeth gritted, eyes focused to those 5 red lights. Green at the back, ready to go. All eyes on Moto2 2025 begins now. Lights out in Thailand. Great start for Justino Vietti and Manuel Gonzalez. Bad start from Senna Igas. He's going to drop down as he comes up on the inside of the 81. The 81 has to back out of it as well as they come to the first corner. Manuel Gonzalez back on as well into second position. He stays side by side briefly with Vietti as well. Senna Igas holding on with Aaron Canet as Darren Binder coming back on the inside line in the 15. That's just going to be an okay start. Into turn 3 hairpin. Are they all going to get through safely? Yes, it looks like they have. So, good start then so far. Colin Vire, Justino Vietti leads this race. Colin Vire, meantime further back as well, having a few issues out there as well. Gonzalez in second, Senna Igas in third, Binder's fourth. Great start from Darren as we come for the first time into turn 4, 5 and 6. Are we going to see anybody going off the circuit? No, it looks like they've all kept it cleanly as we go to drone camera. That's the drone camera that Formula 1 needs as well, not what we saw in Bahrain testing. Yellow flags out as Hoy Navarro's crashed. Navarro out of the race already. Well, that's a bitter, bitter disappointment to have already one out of the race. Of the 28 in, Alex Eskrich right at the back of the field. He has managed to start this race. Yellow flag sector 3 to come out as well. That's an unusual one for Navarro to come out. There must be an error on the graphic. Joe Roberts has made a tremendous start. Marcos Ramirez up as well into 7th position. Over the line, 1 down, 21 to go in Moto2. Well, already these two at the front with Vietti and Gonzalez has pulled out a gap to Senna Igas as well. Checking out where Colin is on that monitor now. Colin Vire's dropped down to 23rd position. Not the best start. Alonso's gained some places, as Sean says, up into 21st position. What's my pick for a win for this one? It's quite hard to tell with Moto2. It's going to be a lot closer this year in terms of on-track action, certainly in terms of the race itself today. You've got to sort of have an outside shot for Aaron Canet, but Canet is down into 6th position already, as Vietti and Gonzalez doing battle further up the track as well, coming into turn 7 and 8. Meantime, I think, yeah, Binder's making moves up there. Dixon's down into 10th place, and into the lead has gone Justina Vietti side by side now as well, with Manuel Gonzalez. Gonzalez briefly has it. Vietti's going to come back on the inside though, coming into turn 8. Beautifully done, and a shockingly good move. That's very nice as they come into 9, 10 and 11. Then the last corner coming up of turn number 12. A heavy braking spot after a little straight. 18's going to dive up the inside again. Gonzalez backed out of it. Vietti's going to lead the second lap as well here in Moto2. Well, Guevara has been given a double long lap penalty, so has Binder, but that was stuff we already knew coming into today's race. So Binder and Guevara have the double long lap penalties to complete for an instant in qualifying as well. Here's the interval on your screen and mine at home as this race continues on. Into turn 3. Yeah, Senna I guess as well in 3rd position, holding off and down Binder and Isaac Guevara. These two with penalties, so discount them from the running order. Aaron Canet in 6th, effectively 4th. He's got to be an eye on. He's going to keep his tyres as good as possible in the early stage of this race. Pirelli had the degrading tyre, remember, as Binder makes a move on Senna Igas. Igas trying to come back. Oops, there we go. And the FIM stewards, there you go. Oh, it's a jump start! Binder and Guevara, a double long lap penalty for a jump start. We knew that coming in. As battling in the front, Gonzalez and Vietti, side by side. Nicely done. Yeah, now, they could have said it was for a jump start beforehand. We got told that there was penalties coming in pre-race, unless that's in MotoGP. We'll double check for you. Either way, not the best situation to start the season with the double long lap penalties. Into the last corner then. 19 to go. Perfect exit from Gonzalez there. He almost straightened up coming out that last corner and went straight to the line. What a blunder from those two. Yeah, for a jump start procedure. You can see it on the official messaging system up here. We have for Moto2 and Moto3, as we don't have a live blog, so the messages systems come in handy. Little bit of a dive bomb, little bit of a move. Just trying to hold it together at the exit. They've done it right, and they've done it nice so far. Senna Igas then still in 3rd position. Now, they've been doing Guevara. I've got to take the long lap penalties this lap, because otherwise they'll be in breach and get a further penalty. So they have done it now, yeah. Binder and Guevara go and take their long lap penalty loops, which is at turn 5 and 6. Very dusty offline, so you've got to do it correct. The long lap penalty, one of them at least, has been taken. It's such a dangerous rejoin as well, mid-corner. It's not 100% the nicest swing back in that we expect here in Moto2. Gonzalez, Vietti, Senna Igas, Canet, Monrella takes 5th position. So again, they will hold the somewhat advantage in this race as we come out the last corner, and we'll start again with 18 laps to go here as the American squad getting past as well further back on the circuit. Barry Boltus side by side with Marcos Ramirez. Ramirez has the inside line to 1 and stays ahead of Boltus. Holgado's just behind, 8th position as well. Jake Dixon's back up into 9th, but again having a little bit of a shocker from him, the British rider. Wide from Aaron Canet there, down into turn 3, left the door open. Thought Monrella might make a move on the inside line. Battle for 4th closing in. I think Gavin Emmett thought the same as me, that there'd be an overtake of some kind coming in. We thought they might lunge a little bit. They've just got to be careful. As we now right on board with Diego Monrella in the number 10. Oh, Isaac Guevara has taken his 2nd on that penalty. Has Binder, that's my question, No, Binder stayed 10th. Binder doesn't know it's a double long lap. Binder hasn't done his second long lap penalty. Now, long lap penalty complete for Izan Guevara. He has completed the penalty. But Binder hasn't. Yeah, look, Guevara has completed his double long lap penalty. It's flashing on the monitor. But Darren Binder has not completed his second double long lap penalty, which means a failure to do so because he has to do it once and then the second lap. That's going to be another double long lap penalty for Darren Binder. Is Darren aware of it, says Sean? I hope so. He'll get the messaging system. We have the same messaging system that we do in MotoGP on the bike, so everyone should know. But that is shocking if that's the case. I think Jorge Navarro, Jorge Navarro's out of the race, I think. 4 laps down, that's good. Zesque, yeah, Navarro's out, and so is Alex Zesque. Alex Zesque never even started the race, apparently. So Navarro's crash is the only one so far. Confirmed he's out of the race, but I can hear a sort of microphone in the background having trouble, like somebody's crashed. Yeah, there's something going on. Now, look out for Binder, the number 15. Does he take his long lap penalty this time around? I hope they stay on the camera. Yes, he takes it now. Interesting. So Binder now takes it and loses out 5 places. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough for the stewards, to be fair, because he's still in the points and he's done that tactically. A double long lap penalty means you have to serve it one after the other. Binder's double long lap penalty complete. The stewards seem happy with it. Okay. So they don't seem to mind that, despite the fact you have to do it one after the other. And Binder took a free lap in between. That needs to be looked at, in my opinion. If it's a double long lap penalty, you have to do it one lap and then the second lap. Binder did 1 lap with the penalty, 1 lap normal, then 1 lap with the penalty. That's not in the spirit of the rules. I would be having a look at that and tightening up the regulations. But I suppose at this point, Simon Crayfar's hands are tied. Simon Crayfar let down, get away with it for this time. If the rules are allowed, as we look at the battle for 4th, as Aaron Canet and Diego Monrella go battling in. Monrella trying to throw up the inside at turn 3 on Aaron Canet. Can't make it through at this time, but he's in the slipstream up towards turn 4. The kink looks to the inside line. Last of the late breakers can't get through. Binder's through the points, by the way. That's how crazy this little situation is brewing up. The fact is that he's had a problem and he's still in the points. It is daft for what is happening. Over the hill and far away as they fly in now. It's a pretty flat circuit here, actually, in Thailand as well. So I'd love to know the minimal elevation change that we see here. Not actually that bad. Always looks quite billiard smooth, but it's the humidity that gets you here and the lack of oxygen that flies in to your helmet. Always drifting around, doing everything. Gonzalez leads this race. Vietti 2nd and Igerson 3rd with 15 laps to go. Dixon on the inside of Holgado with a sweet move on the inside, and yeah, follow me, he says to Holgado. Dixon tapping the back of his bike. Follow me, let's go together. Lap 8 of 22 here. 15 to go in Moto2. And look, he said to Holgado, stick behind me, don't go for it, just stick behind me, get in the tow, and let's go work together. So they're having a little bit of a battle together. I like this in these two. This is a nice little strategy that they've got developed up here. Just stay with me. Over again. Fastest first sector for the top 3, and the second sector is looking good as well for Manuel Gonzalez. Philip Salak and David Alonso also doing well. Salak's down in hang on a minute. That was Alonso Lopez fastest first sector as well. Alonso is 22nd. Alonso Lopez is in 10th position. So both Alonsos in this one. One Lopez, one Alonso Lopez, one with David Alonso or David Alonso, really, as you must pronounce his name, to come into it. Gonzalez still slow in that middle sector as we ride on board with Diego Monrella down into turn 12. He's going for it. He's looking to the inside line. Canet can't defend this one. He outbraked him. That was dangerous from Canet. He's rolling in the brake as we see Marcos Ramirez and Barry Baltus over 6th place, having a little bit of a ding-dong into that last corner as well. What a race this is turning out to be. Liking the new timing tower as well, actually. The way it rotates, it is working quite well with 14 laps to go here. Ramirez in 6th, Baltus in 7th. Ramirez going a little bit wide. The sun's now just broken through one of the clouds that was giving brief cloud cover over the circuit. Ground temperature did drop to 50 degrees because of that. It was 53 when we started, but now that sun's starting to break through. That's going to be even worse as well for the guys out there, because it's going to get hotter and hotter and hotter, and you're going to get hotter and hotter and hotter, and you feel it so much in the running order. It is unbelievable the amount of pressure you get out there. Gonzalez, though, leading this race. His 61st start in Moto2. He's had 1 win before, 1 fastest lap, 6 podiums coming in. His first win, guess when? Japan. As well in 2024 was his first win. That's also when we rounded out Ayagura's championship. Sounds like one of the boats you get down in Bridlington. That's a nice little engine throb. Took me right back then, actually, hearing that. You get little boats in Bridlington that, as kids you can go in and drive, and it sounds like that. They all bum 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 bum. Took me right back then. Top 5 have just set the fastest first sectors. 20.7, 5, 6, 7, 7. And then Ivan Otola, 20.7 as well. Same for Cooney, Guevara, and Colin Vire, all setting the red sectors. Gap second at the front for Gonzalez and Vire. Lap 10 of 22. Now this is where the Pirelli tyres start to have a little bit of an issue, where the graining starts to come in and you have to start saving those tyres for another go point at the end of the race. Moto2 this year, already a bit closer than last year in terms of the separation of the field. It feels closer. Unlike anything can happen, it feels more like a Grand Prix now. This is a better result, that they are closer together. Liking this one so far. Not a disaster as we were expecting for Moto2. Let's check in with TNT Sports quickly as well for a lap.
Back now with Marcos Ramirez in the battle for 7th between the two of them. Baltus in front of them in 6th. Dixon will just take his time, not rush. But Olgado's done the right thing and just sticking behind and watching where Dixon might be having a little bit more pace. Not been the weekend that Dixon would have liked. Marcos Ramirez also had a little bit of a crash earlier on in the weekend. But he was okay, but good to see him on form again, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. Ramirez had a good ride here at the end of last season, ended up on the podium in 3rd, just behind Ayagura, so he'll be thinking back to the memories of 4 months ago and wanting to relive the podium visit, although I think you look at the pace from the front 3, Gonzalez, Vietti and Aegis, they're in the 35s every single lap, as is Aaron Canet at this stage. He's able to match them, but yeah, this group are lapping in the 36-second range, so I think it could well end up a battle just between those in shot.
What a race we're having here.
Still Canito Moreira in front of this group, but 2.5 seconds is that gap. Canet in turn is 1.5 seconds behind Aegis, who is keeping Vietti honest further up the field. This is the Belgian, Barry Baltus, the number 7. Got the Barry Sheen number on his front because he was named after Barry Sheen. Started as a 16-year-old, Michael, and you know, it's not been easy, has it? He's been in the RW team over the years, had that podium, didn't he, at the start of last year, made the split from the Dutch squad, now finds himself at Fantic. The one thing he always had to work on, he's quite wild, isn't he? As in, he likes it loose at the back, and often that's been chewing up the tyres.
He is a bigger rider and aggressive, as you mentioned, in the braking zone, sideways, and really aggressive with the throttle. Did consume his tyres a little bit too much on occasion last year, but obviously still a learning process, still very young, and 3 years in the RW racing team really laid the foundations for now to step into the Fantic squad, and having a teammate like Aaron Canet to pull on all the data and information they gathered last year with Pirelli rubber, battling for the title, winning races. And I think Barry's benefited from the move, and yeah, it's good to see him as strong as he is right now.
Jake Dixon not able to make moves at the moment, just ran a little bit wide on that occasion, lost touch slightly with Marcos Ramirez. I have to say, I'm so impressed by Danny Olgado and what he's doing at the back of that group. This is the front of the pack, though. Manuel Gonzalez now has 1.4 seconds over Celestino Vietti. Still, at half race distance, we're not going to say this race is run, even though there's 1.5 seconds. And Senna just now on the back of Vietti. It's about who's going to keep the tyre underneath them for the remaining 11 laps, or should I say, just over 10 now.
Thanks, Gav. Yeah, this is going to be a very... Oh, no, no, no! Straight out from underneath us. Yellow flag comes out. And a really annoying accident for Giustino Vietti, who gets tangled up with Senna in that last sector. And Vietti is out of the Moto2 race. He turns in. Senna doesn't know he's there. And it's an accident which can be Senna going on. And Giustino Vietti out of the race. Happens right in front of us. Wow. Well, it's under investigation by the stewards. Vietti out. Aaron Canet now in second place, but Manuel Gonzalez has a 3.5 second advantage at the front of the field. Manuela and Senna now drops to 4th place. Oh. It was a simple move. It was coming out of turn 10. Just a simple switchback. Outside moment for outside for Colin Vire. Senna on the inside. Vire cuts back across the track. At the same time, Senna's turning in, and they just run into each other. In my opinion, that is a racing incident. That does not deserve a penalty. There was nothing at all Senna could have done with being on the inside. Vietti chopped him off mid-corner. That is a total racing accident, in my opinion. I would love to see a replay to confirm my hypothesis, as Giustino Vietti has come in. Senna has been given a long lap penalty. I don't agree with that. What do the boys say?
No surprises. He should rejoin.
Really?
You'd think.
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
Perhaps in 4th place.
Yeah, I think he will pull back on track in front of Baldas. And then I think if he takes it straight away, it's probably the best medicine, and then just go to work on trying to get back into podium contention.
I'm not sure about that.
In second, Moreira in 3rd. Back-to-back podiums it could be for the Brazilian. We have been told, as Celestino Vietti comes down pit lane,
irresponsible riding.
we have been told that there will be a Brazilian Grand Prix next year. How great would that be?
Oh.
With Diogo Moreira in the field. Oh, whether it be in Moto2 or perhaps in Moto3, who knows? Moto3, MotoGP.
Yeah.
Who knows what his future is, but it'd be great, wouldn't it, to go back. The talk is we'll head to Goiânia.
Is there a racetrack there already? Or?
Yeah, it's one we've raced at in the Grand Prix before, in the 90s.
I always called it Rio.
No, that was a different one. That was Jacarepaguá, Nelson Piquet circuit. This one is up by the city of Goiás, in the interior. So, but they went there. It might be in the late 80s, but we have already been there. I think work needs to be done, obviously, to bring it up to spec. But yeah,
Agus is completing his long lap.
That will happen.
South America would certainly be welcoming with the Colombians. The fact that we've obviously got Moreira, the Brazilian, looking so strong, and a potential for a MotoGP future if he has a really strong start to his Moto2 campaign. But you can see the frustration on Celestino's face. He's shaking his head.
Right, we've got a replay of it now on our monitors. I don't know how to read it.
Isn't it, that if you are going to put that move in, if he'd have committed to it, it might have been okay. Because I think Vietti thought he was coming.
It's definitely, if he'd have committed, he'd have got further in front and not collected Celestino's shoulder. Obviously, that was where the impact was in the wrong places at angle, unloads the tyres, and immediately he hits the deck. And, yeah, I think Senna was self-preservation in terms of keeping the bike upright after the hesitation, knew there was going to be contact, and by keeping it straight, he stayed upright. And unfortunately, the unfortunate, well, for Celestino Vietti being on the outside, ended up on the deck. So, Marcos Ramirez has got through on Baltas, but Aegis has rejoined in front of this group. It cost him about, yeah, three and a half seconds going through the long lap area. 3.5 seconds is the gap that Manuel Gonzalez has to Aaron Canet behind. Canet a tenth quicker. I tell you what, Canet still in the 35s. Still in the 35s. Is there a chance? Is there any chance for Canet to apply the pressure? Because it looks
just
like
about.
now Moreira cannot stick with Canet.
Yeah, I think you'd need a drop in tyre performance for Gonzalez to lose 3.5 seconds, but yeah, it's only a tenth or 2/10 maximum at the moment with 7 laps to go. I think Gonzalez, on the speed we've seen from him all weekend and throughout testing, has this under control.
Gap closes by 9 thousandths of a second on that last lap. So, yeah, you could be right, but we never know. Gonzalez has had a mixed past. There's times when he has spent tyres. There's times when he's held on to them.
Yeah, I think he made a little bit of a breakthrough last year. I think he was always 5th or always 4th. It just always seemed to be 5th place always was his limit. And despite leading races, would fall back into that position, whereas the breakthrough, the victory finally coming, and then the move to Dynamo, we were surprised at the time, but at the moment it looks like it's certainly paying off.
2 former rivals in Moto3, David Alonso in behind Dutch rider Colin Fire in there, and the number 95. It's not easy for Alonso, as we talked about his dislocated shoulder that he suffered in a training incident at the start of the year. Just taking a little bit of time to get back to full fitness, but I don't think any of us are in any doubt about the talent that David Alonso has. Just a bit of a baptism of fire here in Thailand. There's Joe Roberts. I have to say, Roberts has done well, hasn't he, to get up to 19th. Bear in mind, we're talking about scaphoid injuries, and we mentioned it yesterday with Jorge Martin, but his just feels like it's rumbling on a little bit from Phillip Island last year.
Yeah, I think didn't expect it to be causing as many issues. The hangover from the crash in Phillip Island. And the scaphoid is one of those bones that you have to be careful with it. You can't push it too soon, and there is always the risk of lack of blood flow, and we've seen the bone die on some riders in the past, and then the lingering effects ongoing for years to come. So Joe's had to be careful and making sure he's not risking any further injury at the moment.
2/10 on that lap from Aaron Canet. So just a glimmer. You've just got to keep plugging away, haven't you? Keep them honest. Isan Guevara's further down the field has got in front of Darren Binder. So having been 4th and 5th in the early stages, had their double long laps for jump starts. They are still outside the points. The points being rounded out by Adrian Huertas as Jake Dixon gets right onto the back now of Baltas.
Yeah, Anju and Arbolino have made their way through to 13th and 14th. They were right down outside the top 20 early on. It's been quite inconspicuous. We haven't seen anything from them, but important to be back in the points here for both Anju and Tony Arbolino. And
maybe a word for the rider in front of him, Mario Aji, the Indonesian, who's certainly starting to get to grips with Moto2, and actually all through the weekend has been in, amongst the top 15, top 10.
He has. We've seen his name pop up there, and it's good to see the Indonesian rider. Certainly in his rookie season in Moto2 showed flashes of this kind of speed, and he's brought a lot more consistency this year, and yeah, good to see for the Honda Team Asia rider.
I want to say quickly an apology to you, Sharon. I misread I misread your comment there. I thought you said, due to technical problems, we're only going to have helicopter pictures from the MotoGP race today, not Moto2, Moto3. I thought you meant that we're only going to have helicopter pictures, not the trackside camera. I misread what you said, and then I reread it, and I understood it. Like, oh, that's why we haven't seen the helicopter camera. That's only going to be from MotoGP onwards. I'm with you now. I apologise. That's my fault. It's 5:45 in the morning. I'm running on 2 hours sleep after a massive technical problem ourselves in our systems that we have spent all day sorting. I do apologise, my friend. I do apologise. I've deleted that as well. Yeah, you are right. In fact, I'm going to pin that comment because you are right. That's an interesting thing to see at the moment. So 5 to go. Gonzalez leads, and he's pulling out fantastic gaps to Aaron Canet. 3.2 seconds to come in. This is not bad. Yes, I've just seen the press release that I've gone through as well. I'm not the only one, though. That press release that from Dorna came in an hour ago about that, so I missed that. Sorry. As they said about not having the technical feed to come through. I was going to say, because that would be a bit weird if we only had helicopter cameras and it's like, well, we're 2 races in and we've seen fantastic. We have had numerous issues this weekend as well. Oh, hello. Simon Patterson, our mate over there, has said that hearing rumours of the MotoGP race being shortened because of the temperature after 10 crashes in Moto3. Well, this race was still scheduled for 22 laps, so what was yesterday, 14? Yeah, there you go, Chang. The same thing. Okay. What are we going to have to come through? So, 4 to go. We're going to keep you updated with that if we do have MotoGP race shortened. That would be a surprise, wouldn't it? To come in. Gonzalez leads. Canet second. Monrella third. Igas fourth. Ramirez fifth. Bolter sixth. Dixon is in 7th place. And look at Tony Albarino and Dennis Onchu. 2 riders who should be having a great year. Stuck down in 12th and 13th position as well. I wonder if that is going to be a shortened race coming through. It would be a surprise, as I've had information coming through. Oh! I've just found my not for Danica Patrick this week on the Grid Tonight show that I've been texted in as well. There is Joe Roberts in 18th position. You heard him on Out on the Grid saying that his strategy was a bit SHT coming through. But he's done amazingly well to fight back up to 18th place. Might just get ahead of Binder and Guevara and maybe as well Adrian Hurtas. I wonder if he's got it left. 3 to go though in Moto2. Yes, by the way, people have texted me in who said, oh, well, I thought this Moto2, Moto3 was supposed to be on JBMotorsports too. Well, we were able to shove it on the main channel for this one. So I like it. Argentina, though, is going to be on the 2nd channel due to the Australian Grand Prix weekend until the Sunday. Actually, I don't think it'll affect much, actually. But I think it's the same as this weekend, actually. So, yeah, thumbs up. Onchu, 12th. Albarino, 13th, coming through. And the 81 of Senna Igas trying to get back onto that podium. I think it was quite harsh for a long lap penalty, really, for him. In my opinion, he was on for the move, and it should have been an option to go for it and to have an action to go through. But Simon Crafars, the steward, he had the penalty book in his hand to give it, and he is a fair man, is Simon Crafar. Very well respected. The riders approved massively of him coming in, saying he was going to take no bull from anybody. He was going to be a fierce, strict for the rules, and he'll have some leniency, but it will be consistent. And that's what I'm liking. as Senna Igas ties up the inside of Diego Monrella. And that was our first poor direction from Dorna this year to cut to Aaron Canet mid-corner. They've picked up the run bike. Senna Igas on the outside line. Battling now. He's in third. And Monrella down into fourth place. A brilliant move from Senna Igas on the inside. Back on the podium, but Monrella's coming back at him in turn one. And he's diving on the inside line. Right-hander, switcheroo. Brilliant from Monrella. And now Senna Igas gets to the slipstream, follows him down towards turn 3. He pulls to the outside line. Last of the lane breakers, swings it in. He knows that Senna Igas is there and he's going to run him wide. So he gets the cut back, sits the bike up and can't get back through at the exit. Wonderful bit of gamesmanship between these two. And Senna Igas using the track well to defend as well as attack. And Monrella knowing and understanding what his competitor rival is going to do and fighting back. He's going to dive on the inside now, coming into turn 5 and 6. Fantastic racing between these two, and Monrella takes it back and leaves the door open. Senna Igas tries to come around the outside. Into 7 and 8 we come, and Monrella stays ahead. Igas can't get back through. Oh, wonderful bit between these two, and Senna's going to dive through on the inside line at the fastest corner of the track. Oh boy! Fantastic from the Australian. Shades of Mick Doohan there with that. Fabulous run. What can Monrella do, the Brazilian, as we come out of turn 9 and 10? Back down towards the final corner. He will be last lap the call for Manuel Gonzalez, but the battle for the podium spot is on as Monrella dives up the inside of turn 12. Breaks off. He goes a bit too deep. Senna Igas undercuts him once again. Monrella comes right back. Fabulous race for the podium here as we start the final lap here in Thailand. Oh, this is amazing. Literally perfect racing between these two. Here we go again. Down towards turn 3 hairpin. I think Senna's a bit far ahead. Monrella would have to do a dive bomb. He's not going to do that. Instead, late brakes, gets the cut back. That was perfect. What a wonderful turn 3 from Diego Monrella. Keep an eye on him as he comes down to 4, 5 and 6. There is Manuel Gonzalez though, your race leader, by 3 seconds to Aaron Canet. It's going to be one of these years, isn't it? Aaron, was my prediction. He's gone out of it, I'm afraid. Over the hill and far away, Manuel Gonzalez coming for a title charge. As the battle still comes on into turn 8 between Senna Igas and Diego Monrella, separated by 0.2 of a second. Very close. Oh, and Salak and Lopez, 9th and 10th, battling out together. Considering Moto2 has been less dramatic than Moto3, I wonder if they'll leave this race for the heat. We'll keep you updated. Over the line, though, Manuel Gonzalez wins a fascinating Moto2 race. It's once again his second ever race win. We're having the day for twos out here. Aaron Canet is in second. Senna Igas finishes in third. Fourth for Diego Monrella as the lucky MotoGP fan waves the checkered flag superbly. Marcos Ramirez fifth as well. Manuel Gonzalez wins his second Moto2 race of his career in a very interesting, fascinating, technical Moto2 Grand Prix of Thailand here in Buriram. Fantastic racing, and one that shapes up a good year for Moto2. Let's take a look at the results then. Manuel Gonzalez is your victor and championship leader by 5 points to Aaron Canet in second. Senna Igas is third with Diego Monrella in fourth. Marcos Ramirez fifth with Barry Boltis sixth. Jake Dixon is in seventh with Daniel Holgado eighth and Philip Salak ninth. Alonso Lopez rounds out your top 10 from Albert Arenas, Dennis Onchu, Tony Alberino, Adrian Hutas and Mario Agi, the final point scorer. Aizan Guevara is 16th from Darren Binder, Joe Roberts, Yuki Kuni, Colin Vire, the 20, David Alonso, Ivan Altola, Amul Sasaki, Zonta van der Gerberg, and Oscar Gutierrez. Our 3 retirements, Justino Vietti in contact with Senna Igus, Jorge Navarro on the opening lap, and it is Alex Escrake who failed to start this race. A fascinating Moto2 then here. Next up, it's MotoGP and the opening Grand Prix of the year after the sprint yesterday. But for Moto2, it is Manuel Gonzalez coming in for his second win. That is 2 first-time second winners this in 2 races. It's brilliant. Are we about to see something special in MotoGP? That's coming your way in 55 minutes' time here on JB Motorsports. But for Moto2, Manuel Gonzalez is the man. We'll see you in Argentina. Bye-bye.